It is a rare day when Ivan LaCroix says, let's do a podcast about spending more time cleaning the car.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is the DIY Detail Podcast. Today we're going to go into strategies on how to spend more time cleaning your car. Never thought I would say that. But
I never thought you'd say that.
Yeah. We have a lot of people that watch the channel that they're hobbyists. They don't do this for a living, and it really doesn't matter how long they spend, and some of them actually want to spend more time detailing their car. So what we're going to go over today is strategies to spend less time so you can spend more time. I know it sounds a little weird, but some people try to, let's say, stretch out the wash to a 2 or 3 hour job because they just don't want to go back in the house. They just want to stay out there with the car and spend as much time. So they not waste time, but they could be doing something more productive. So we're going to teach you how to be a little more productive in your time wasting, if I can put it that way.
But I know that we're going to talk about Ivan LaCroix efficiency techniques as well.
Yeah.
So don't think this is just like opposite day, Nick and Ivan got drunk on their own supply and just decided to make this goofy podcast. No, this is actually going to give you great car detailing tips, but also this is to tap into the people who love it. And Ivan and I were talking about how I didn't record myself detailing yesterday, and I just posted in the comments, I'm like, it's because I just truly love detailing, and I just wanted to watch it. I could have meditated, I could have gone for a run. I wanted something that would bring me joy, pleasure, mental health. I chose to clean my car. So we know that people love it out there. That's why we have a company, right? DIY Detail.
Right.
People love doing this, Ivan. So where did you want to start in this whole process?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of people out there that think washing their car is going to take a lot of time. And it doesn't need to take a lot of time. And you may have seen a neighbor, seen a family member, whatever, that takes 2 to 3 hours to wash their car. Now, for some of you, that's very attractive because that's 2 to 3 hours that I can zone out from the world and just disappear and clean my car. So the whole premise of this podcast is to show you that you can do that if you want to spend that 2 or 3 or 4 hours washing a car, but we're actually going to make it productive for you so that you get more done in that time. So you're not just washing the car in that 3 or 4 hours, you might be able to decontaminate the car and get a lot more done, have more fun, and at the same time, have a better car when you're done, have a better detail when you're done, have a cleaner car when you're finished.
You can get more done in that time. So we're giving you ideas. Like, one thing that I realized took a lot of time when I went out to wash my car in the parking lot yesterday was all the setup. You know, I had my rinseless wash keg, and then I had to find my chemicals, and it was like I had to go get my towels. Can you talk about, let's talk about saving. There's times to save time, there's times to, use time. That was very annoying to me, Ivan. Talk about being like efficient in the setup and having everything where it should be.
Right, so the setup is definitely where a lot of people, the setup and tear down, if I can put it that way, that's where a lot of people lose time and where they don't enjoy it because they're not playing with the foam cannon, they're not playing with the hose, they're not out there with the suds with their kids. They're just dragging stuff out of the basement, dragging stuff out of the garage, dragging stuff down the stairs of the apartment building, whatever.
Not fun.
No. So at that point, we'll start with the apartment dweller like you are. You want to be as minimalist as possible when you're an apartment dweller because that will reduce the number of things you're carrying up and down all the time. Now, there are some things you can actually keep in your car and leave them there. Drying towels, you can have some of your supplies depending on what the temperature is where you are. If it's going to freeze, don't leave your chemicals out there. If it's going to be 120 degrees in the shade, don't leave your chemicals out there. But
you could do like a plastic bin to put your nice towels in. They're not going to get contaminated with all the crap in your trunk, but like you have a bin for your towels, because that's one thing I was like, I had to grab my towels from an upper shelf and like, which ones do I grab? So just keeping your towels in your vehicle, you think is a great place to start.
Right. And as an apartment dweller that has to carry stuff, being a minimalist when washing is great. So having one of those little portable, washing things. And I say things because there's a lot of different ones out there. You can use a pump sprayer. There's some electric ones. There's some battery powered ones. There's some that you need to use pressurized air, like the keg that we use, but anything like that, and go with rinseless. So rinseless in this case, when you don't have a hose, when you don't have running water, you don't have a pressure washer, you don't have electricity, et cetera, that's where rinseless really comes into its own. And you can use like a battery powered pressure washer and a couple buckets. There's a lot of different ways of doing it, but try your best to look at your setup time. So we have fun detailing the car, we have fun washing the car, but we don't have fun getting everything out and getting everything prepared. Now, for the home dweller, you may have a garage or you just a garden shed, but you have some place to keep your stuff close by. That is even better. And then if we go up to the next level, you have a garage. You may be washing in the driveway, but have your pressure washer set up on a shelf. I see too many people that when they want to pressure wash their vehicle, they have to get out the pressure washer, hook it up to the hose, then hook up the pressure washer hose to it and all of that. There's a lot of easy, quick things you can do. A shelf on the wall for the pressure washer, the hose already hooked up to it, etc., that can save you a lot of time. So that all you have to do is open the garage door, pull out the pressure washer hose, and start washing. And it's that simple. And that creates a lot more fun and a lot more efficiency. And when you're done, if you can buy a hose reel, you reel it up. If not, you have a hook on the wall that you just nicely, drape the hose on. And like in our shop, we have a hose reel. I actually find it more efficient to use a hook on the wall and just wrap the hose around, in nice long big loops instead of reeling it up on that reel and taking it off that reel every time. But our managing partner, it's his man cave, so he's the one that put it in there, so we're going to use it.
He likes the reel.
Yeah, he likes the reel. But nonetheless, it's just there are things you can do, and look at your setup. Look how before you actually put water on the vehicle or put a chemical on the vehicle, how long is it taking you? And are there ways to improve that? And that is where a lot of people can make detailing more fun, because that's the part that's not fun.
Yeah,
that is
100%.
the part that's a chore.
It is and then the cleanup was a chore too.
Yeah.
Even if it's your garage, maybe you can say, even though I shouldn't do this, I'll just leave it. I'll get it tomorrow. We don't do that at DIY.
No.
And we don't suggest doing that. It's really nice to just have your shop clean when you're done.
Yeah.
But yesterday it was like the parking lot of my apartment. So it was like I had to like find places to put it, and that it wasn't fun doing the cleanup or the setup. So that's where I want to save a lot of time.
Yeah.
So what should I spend? Yeah.
But look at that aspect of it and really analyze it and see, okay, where can I save time? The best example I have is you have kids. If you want your kids to be involved in washing the car and have fun with you washing the car, if you're taking a half hour to set up, you've already lost their interest right there.
Yep.
But if you can walk down the stairs with them, they carry a bucket, you carry a bucket. One of the kids carries one thing down, another one carries the other. By the time you get downstairs, it's like 3 minutes later and you're already wet and washing the car. Then you've got their attention. But if it takes you half an hour of walking up and down the stairs, carrying all sorts of stuff and getting this and that and the other thing out, then it becomes a chore for the kids and they're not going to have fun with it. So
100%. So let's talk about how we can have more fun and spend more time detailing. Whatever the heck your idea on this podcast is, I can't wait to hear it, Ivan.
Yeah. So having more fun detailing to me is getting more done. And by getting more done, I want my car to look better. So
right.
There are some people that they stretch out the wash process very, very long. And, they'll take half an hour to clean a wheel and then half an hour to clean the other wheel. I might be exaggerating here, but I've seen people take that long. Whereas, if you really enjoy cleaning wheels, then go for it. Take your time cleaning the wheels. But there are other things you can do on a regular basis that make it easier to clean your car the next time and more fun. Plus, you're actually protecting your car. You're protecting your car more by doing it. An example. Once a month, get out the clay towel and decontaminate your paint. Use ceramic gloss as the lube when you have the rinseless on the surface or the incredible suds. It's just a lot of fun to do it that way. And yes, it's going to take you a little longer in your wash, but you're going to have a better result at the end.
So you're not saying take super long on each step. You're just suggesting if you want to have more fun by detailing for longer, just get more stuff done. So still use the LaCroix efficiency techniques.
Right, but add more steps. And instead of stretching out a step, add a few more steps. That way you get more done, you have a better result at the end. And a lot of people don't think that way. They think, okay, I want to wash my car today, but I want it to take at least 2 hours because I want to be out of the house. I don't want the screaming kids, or I just want to zone out and not think about work, or whatever your reason for escaping is. But, detailing like lawn cutting and other household chores for a lot of people is their weekly escape, is their way of relaxing, turning the brain off and just letting it go. And I'll get it done. But for myself, ADHD and all that fun stuff, I want to get more done. And if I just took 2 hours to wash my car, half hour in, I would be like, okay, we have to get this over with. But if I have a plan and I have more things to do, then I am gonna stretch it out longer because I have more things to do. So a few things you can do is a deep dive on your wheels. So a deep dive on your wheels. The way we wash wheels on the channel, and you see us wash wheels all the time, takes like 5 minutes to do 2 wheels. It's not a long process. But if you want to deep dive just a little more and take 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes, you can. And that means spending a little more time in the barrels. And the face of the wheel should always come out the same. But spend a little more time in the barrels, spend a little more time on the brake calipers, meaning that, let's say you're lucky and you have a 5-spoke wheel. So you place the wheels first where you can, you clean what you can get at, and then move the car forward 6 inches, just enough to clear that spoke so you can get another part of that brake caliper. So you can get that whole brake caliper nice and dialed in. It's not going to last for long, but it's a nice way of doing it. So that is one of the things. And, some people criticize others for going overboard on wheel wells, because we all know that you drive 2 miles down the road, it's not going to be noticeable that you cleaned your wheel well. But if you want to get in there and clean your wheel well and get it all, especially if you have like a truck that you can actually see the wheel well, then yes, it's fun, to get in there with the brushes and spend a little more time cleaning that and deep clean it and then protect it. Use something like quick beads or use ceramic gloss inside your wheel well. So you can do that. It's fun to do. And once you've done it, it's satisfying. So that it takes a little more time, but at the same time, you've done a better job. You've accomplished more things. Another area where when we're washing a vehicle, we tend to gloss over a little bit. We don't go as in depth as we could. And that is the grill on the front of your vehicle. If you have one of those grills that is just a monstrous 3D maze of nooks and crannies, then once in a while, it's nice to get in there with a little brush and a towel and really deep clean that grill. So that is something that, you can find a comfortable chair, sit in front of the grill and just methodically go left to right or up and down, however you want to do it, but just methodically go through that grill. And it's satisfying to see that progress and to see the dirty grill and the clean grill and as you're going across. So that's another area that you don't want to spend that time every time you're washing the vehicle, but once in a while, it's nice to get in there and do that.
The hack way of doing it is, you wash it somehow, and when it dries, it all looks like chalky and everything, no matter what you do to clean it. I used to use like a aerosol spray, one of those like literal aerosol sprays, like a trim shine. Or, you could spray like tire lotion over the grill and it would make it look nice. But the alternative is to meticulously clean every little section of grill to the point where it will actually dry up really nice. It just takes a long time to clean every little section, Ivan.
But then once you've done it, again, quick beads is your friend on these intricate places. And get in there with quick beads and do that.
Which is after it's clean and it's still wet, we spray quick beads, we give it about 30 seconds dwell time, and then you pressure wash it off, and all of a sudden you have protected.
Yeah. It's protected. It'll make it easier to clean the next time. Another area that people can dive into that a lot of people are afraid to dive into is open the hood and clean your engine. You don't need a pressure washer. You can do it with a hose. You don't need all sorts of fancy chemicals. If you maintain it on a regular basis, all you're doing is cleaning off dust. And it's not that difficult to clean off. Now, if your engine has an oil leak, that's a different story. But generally speaking, we're just cleaning off dust, so it's not difficult to do. So you can Get in there, foam on some all clean, foam on some incredible suds, spray on some rinseless, let it dwell for a little while, rinse it off, spray it on again, whether it be the incredible suds or the rinseless, and then go at it with a little brush and get into all those little nooks and crannies and look at your engine and explore it and see, oh, look at this hose, all sorts of things that you can notice and learn about your engine while you're there. Like Nick, you open the hood of your car and there's an engine in there, and that's about where it stops, right?
That's about where it stops. And I make
Right.
no bones about. I'm like, I love
Yeah.
cleaning the cars. I don't really know how they work. I still think they're awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoy cleaning them.
But for that, you could open your hood and say, okay, but what's this component as you're cleaning it, and learn about that component, and then look at another component and, what's this component? How does it work? And why does it work? And why do I have it in my engine compartment? Et cetera, et cetera. So it gives you that opportunity to start learning. So the engine
Because you
compartment,
recently mentioned the owner's manual, and I thought it was such a boring thing to talk about because I got this Jeep Wrangler 2015, and you're like, well, I asked you a question about it. You're like, read the owner's manual. And so I did. I was a little grumbly, but I did. And it was actually like, it wasn't boring. It was actually like a pretty well-written, colorful owner's manual where it was like, I was actually learning stuff, and I was like, oh, there's something to this, Ivan.
I've owned over 80 cars, and I've read the owner's manual, every single one of them. So yeah, it does, and owner's manual in the 50s and 60s were so much better. They actually had
Really?
maintenance things. Oh yeah, like how to change your spark plugs and how to, adjust the timing and set the points and all that fun stuff. We don't have that anymore. But at the same time, to me, it's always been an interesting read. Before I buy a car, I read the manual. When I was buying new cars, I'd have them give me the manual before delivering the car to me. So when I go to pick the car up, I've already read the manual and I can drive away, knowing what I'm doing. With that being said, so get to know your engine compartment, get to know what's in there. Another area where we often clean, but we're not that in depth with, is door jams.
I was going to say door jams.
Yeah, every couple months, just do a deep dive into your door jams. And yes, you can pressure wash your door jams. It's not difficult to do. Use a 15-degree nozzle, turn the pressure down on your pressure washer as low as you can, and get in there. You're not going to get bounce back on the interior. But then you can go in there and you can ceramic gloss your door jams. You can ceramic coat your door jams. Very important if you have an SUV or even a sedan, but that trunk jam, that is the one that is always the dirtiest and the most intricate as well, because you've got the struts holding things up and the hinges and all that fun stuff. So get in there and deep dive once in a while. And doing that is, therapeutic. Again, you can be sitting down and do a door jam. You don't have to stand up beside the car. So, you can get in there and just sit, put some tunes on. And today I'm doing the driver's door jam. And tomorrow or next week, I'll do the passenger side door jam, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something you can add to your routine to deep clean a specific area of the vehicle and get really in depth and get to know it. And at the same time, if you have a seal that has a little rip in it, you'll see it. If you have a wire that's starting to fray, you'll see it. So getting in there and getting in depth and intimate with your vehicle is a lot of fun.
Well, and also, I mean, you'll notice it in like an older white vehicle, those little orange rust spots on the door jamb. It may be an opportunity to do a little bit of iron remover or a little bit of, and then rinse that off. You can even do the, after washing in the door jamb, you could even do the iron remover and do like a few passes with our perforated synthetic decontamination towel and then rinse that off. It might be a good opportunity to spray some water spot remover in there and just remove the minerals that have been building up in there over all the days and months and years, and then rinse that out. And it's just like, it's really satisfying when your door jamb is immaculate. So again, we're talking about rabbit hole things, but there's actual utility. We're not wasting time. We're just doing the things that we don't often get to.
Right. Some people, they rabbit hole down washing the car, and they, as far as I'm concerned, that is losing time. Now, if you enjoy it, if you like playing with the suds and, foaming it 5 times to wash the car, by all means, do it. But at the same time, in that same time, you could get so much more accomplished. You get so much more done. Another area that a lot of people don't really like in detailing, and it's weird, and that's interiors. And a lot of people, when it comes to their interior, they're either enthusiastic about doing interiors or they're like, no, I just rather wash the outside. The interior seems like a chore. But when you really get down to it, interiors can be fun. It's just having a process and having a system down. And if you're all over the place, then it becomes a chore and it becomes very time consuming and you don't seem to be getting a lot done. But if you are very methodical with interiors, to me, the more methodical I am with interiors, and this was something that I, instilled into my employees as well, the more methodical they were, the more they enjoyed it because they knew they didn't have to go back over that same place again. And it was almost like a game. It's like, okay, how quickly can I get this done and not have a comeback and, not miss anything? So
Well,
it's something
yesterday,
like that.
yesterday when I went to detail my car in the parking lot, out in the wild, no air compressor, no electricity, I thought I was going to get all these things done. We often, get all these. Our stomach is bigger. Our eyes are bigger than our stomach at the buffet, right? I'm going to do all this stuff, and then by the end of it, I did do the water spot remover and the iron remover, and so there were a lot of steps involved. But it turned dark, and I ran out of time. Let's say I had more time because I'm doing everything efficiently, and now I want to spend my time, but using it well, and I have time to hit the interior. What is like the quick, what can I get done in like 15 minutes that will be maximum ROI on my effort, Ivan, on an interior?
So 2 towels, one with interior clean and protect, sprayed onto the towel, and a dry towel, and just dampen and dry, dampen and dry. Start at the top, work your way down, and work around the interior. You'd be amazed how much surface you can cover in 15 minutes. And the difference it will make in your interior. The next time you sit in your interior and you don't have that little layer of dust on the dash and your console is clean and there's that little spill in the cup holder and the steering wheel feels nice. Those are all things that don't take a lot of time. When you're doing your interior, especially on a weekly basis or even a monthly basis, you'll never need, once you've done it once, you'll never need to do a deep cleaning again if you maintain it, if you stay up on it. So part of your routine could be 1 week I'm doing the door jambs. I'm going crazy on the door jambs. Next week I'm doing the interior. And the week after I'm back to the door jambs, et cetera, et cetera. And now you'll have a cleaner car. You'll have a better car. And, another aspect of this is a lot of people like to try products. They like to, they enjoy testing and playing with different products. If you're a professional, pick your products and go from there. If you're a hobbyist, yes, it is fun. Now, it can get very expensive. So that, that's a caveat there. You don't want the pan the organizer shelf that, he looks at his shelf and it's, there's a whole shelf full of sealants, and then there's a whole shelf full of soaps and another whole shelf, and every one of them is different. But there are some people, if you can afford it, have fun with it. And that's part of enjoying detailing. It's, if you're a foodie, you like trying different restaurants every week. Well, if you're a detailee or a detailer, the equivalent of a foodie.
A detail freak. No,
yeah.
An enthusiast.
What's a good word for that? Can we have a foodie equivalent in detailing? If you have an idea, put it in the comments below. You might be the originator of some interesting term that gets used for decades from now on. So have at it, people. But
history is alive, right? We could be in a historic moment where someone coins the term.
Yeah, so the detailing foodie, we'll use that term for now, but you guys will figure something out. Anyways, the detailing foodie wants to try a different soap or wants to try a different sealant and a wheel cleaner and a tire cleaner and a different rinseless wash and a different sponge and a different wash media. And that's fun. A lot of people do have a lot of fun doing that. So if that is your game, you don't need to go out and buy every product that exists, but set a limit. Say, okay, at most, I'm going to own 5 soaps. So if you want to buy a 6th soap, you have to use one of your soaps up completely. Or same with the rinseless wash. Or, I have to wear out this wash sponge before I buy a 5th wash or 10th wash sponge.
Right.
So it's setting your limits, setting your budget, and then it becomes, a game. It's like, okay, I'm almost finished that one bottle of soap. Now, which soap am I going to go to? And then you can go down the rabbit hole, look at all the reviews on YouTube and read the reviews on Amazon, etc., and decide, okay, which is the next one. And for a lot of people, that's fun. And that's like the foodie saying, okay, this restaurant, I tried this, but I haven't tried this dessert. So the next time I go back to that restaurant, I'm trying that dessert. Or they want to try a different restaurant every week. So same thing with detailing. And a lot of people have that, impulse to, I want to try new things every week. So you can try different combinations. One combination that we do on the channel, we don't do it frequently, but a lot of people that have tried it really enjoy it, is wash the car, protect it with quick beads, but then dry it using either mist or ceramic gloss. And that just amps up the gloss. It's more fun. And at the same time, you get that satisfaction of, oh, I got to use another product. So,
Well, I was thinking of, if you're just trying to spend a little bit more time but be efficient and do it thoroughly, is just use soap. I mean,
yeah,
use a foam cannon, because rinseless will be a faster process for you because you don't have to rinse at the end.
right.
I know we have to remember, a lot of beginners out there. I was talking to someone who washes his car. He doesn't even know what soap. He buys it at AutoZone or whatever. And I was telling him about rinseless wash. And I'm like, we teach the foam, rinse, foam method, right? But with rinseless, it's chemical, rinse, chemical. But then after you do the contact wash with rinseless wash, you don't have to rinse at the end. It's ready to dry. And with soap, it's foam, rinse, foam, contact wash, and then a final rinse, right? So that's extra time. So anyway, if you haven't heard this, breakdown before, that's how we teach it. But this guy was like not sure what rinseless was. He didn't understand it. So now you know the basics of car washing, and you probably already knew that. But the idea is like, you can add some extra time by using soap.
Right. Yeah. Soap does take more time, but it also involves having more material. So,
Yeah.
a foam, there's foamers that go in your garden hose. At best, they're frustrating. Because
At best.
you get the idea that I might have some foam on the car, and then you just end up with a soppy mess
Well,
that
if
might have
you
the
just
odd bubble here and there.
Yeah, if you didn't ever see a car detailing video on the internet and you didn't know what luxurious foam looked like, you probably would love it, right? But if you've seen what's possible and then you
Yeah.
use one of these foamers that attach to your garden hose, you're going to be disappointed.
Right. Now, there's another thing, we talk about budget, things like that. You can get a pretty good foam cannon for around $40 or $50. We have a friend of ours, his channel is Cars with Keeve. Go look at his channel. He's entertaining. He's fun. He's really a nice guy. But at the same time, he does different levels of things. There are some channels out there, they only show the top, the best, the most expensive stuff. He goes at it in different levels: the beginner level, the intermediate, and the I've got more money than brains level. So, and not
Yeah.
saying that, people would spend a lot of money, but I'm just saying you don't need to spend a lot of money. You can buy $100 pressure washer and a $40 foam cannon, and you can use those straight out of the box. They may not, they won't perform like the $2,000 pressure washer, but at the same time, they're going to get the job done, and they're a lot better than the garden hose. So yes, you can do that. And you can look on Facebook Marketplace and pick them up even cheaper than that. So
Yes, you can.
yeah, so you can get into using a foam cannon and a pressure washer for a lot less money than you may think.
100%. 100%. No, that's a great point. And yet, it's easier to do rinseless wash, isn't it, Ivan?
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's easier, it's faster, it's more efficient. But like I said, for yourself, like with your kids, they're going to have a lot more fun spraying themselves with a foam cannon. Not themselves, but spraying the car with a foam cannon. There might be the odd little suds that get, escapes and hits the other kid. But at the same time, or the father, you never know.
You never know.
Yeah. But it's a fun thing to do, and the kids can have fun with the foam cannon. They can have fun with the wash media and the slapping the washman on the car and rubbing it around. Once you've done the foam rinse foam, as long as your kids don't drop the washman on the ground, you're safe. There's no concern about, oh well, they started at the top, they went to the bottom, they went back up. Don't
They're going in
worry
the
about
wrong
it.
direction, up and down, circles left to right. You don't have much to contend with. As long as
No.
they're not pressing super hard and just
Yeah.
creating a scratch just with the mitt itself, there's
Right.
not much to drive into the paint with those wash mitts. So, no, you're right. If you do the foam rinse foam, all you're contending with is traffic film.
Yeah. And, one thing to make it more fun, to stretch it out a little longer, and I know for some people it's an escape, but involve your kids, involve your family, involve your spouse. Today, Sylvie and I helped our daughter and our son-in-law wash their two cars. They haven't washed them all winter. This was the first time they washed them since the last time we washed them in, probably September or October. So they really needed a good wash. And we did a hybrid wash. So we foamed on the Incredible Suds, let it dwell, rinsed it off, and then brought them in the garage because they're on a dirt driveway. So not the best place to be washing a car, but brought them in the garage and, finished with rinseless because there's no drain in the garage. So it's a very, it was a good activity. It took us about an hour to wash the two cars. Everyone was happy. We had fun. We were joking with each other. My daughter missed a couple spots and on her car. So I pointed those out to her. She fixed them. The son-in-law had a lot of fun laughing at her. And then when I pointed out to the son-in-law that he missed a few spots, well, she got a good laugh out of it too. So, everyone had fun. It was just a good, wholesome, fun time. So those are things that you can do with your family. And if you're my age and you have grandkids, involve the grandkids too.
They loved the keg sprayer because we didn't have the foam in the parking lot.
Yeah.
But we have the detail keg. And pressurized at like 90 psi. You get the little gun, the little wand, and they love them. Like just spray the panel, and they had a great time doing that. So it was cool. I just made sure we had gloves on, and then I'm like, all right, I feel safe. Like it's my job to keep my kids safe. They've got gloves on. I feel good about this. Like let's go. And then just like it's kind of they actually enjoyed it, and it didn't take long. It really didn't. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because my Jeep is so small and without a hose, it actually didn't drip a lot, because it's rinseless, but it was just like, spray it on. I didn't do the rinse chemical. I was like, rinseless on, legacy sponge on paint, and that was actually a pretty fast way to do it. Another thing you could do if you have a sedan or something like that is like you could open up the trunk and organize the trunk, Yes. Sometimes it's good. Like sometimes if you have a closed off trunk, it can become a trash heap or a storage unit, and it feels good to organize those areas, doesn't it, Ivan?
It sure does. And while you're there, do some basic maintenance. Back there in the trunk, you probably have a spare tire. If you have a spare tire, when's the last time you checked the air pressure on your spare tire? So those are things you can do. And make sure your jack works, goes up and down. Make sure, because they do tend to get rusty, things like that. So pull it out once in a while. Clean the jack. Clean under the spare tire. There's a lot of stuff that accumulates down there. And just make sure that you don't have the beginning of rust, things like that. So making sure that all those things work. And, I mentioned the engine compartment before, but while you're there, check your oil level, check your coolant level, fill up the windshield washer bottle. All these little maintenance items you can do while you're doing your tires, check your air pressure, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of things you can do to improve your driving, improve your enjoyment with your vehicle while you're washing it, that in the long run will, take a little more time as you're doing it, but that might be your goal, to take more time.
I enjoy the detailing, and there's everyone else. I feel like the entire world of men is like more handy than I. However, like I got this inflator recently, and there's this little like tire pressure, just like check your PSI on like your tires. And now that I have the inflator, it's like, Ivan's like, like once a week, check the pressure of your tires. And I'm like, I'm becoming a man. So it's like, now I can check the pressure of the tires, and like, I don't know, just like the more you kind of get in touch with the vehicle, the better you feel every time you get behind the wheel. Cause you kind of feel like I've stewarded over this thing. It's in good hands. It's ready to rock and roll. It's not like, I hope everything's going to be good. Like they said, everything was fine the last time I got an oil change. The more you can get involved with it, you don't have to be super handy, Ivan, right? Like
No.
The information's out there for you to engage with your vehicle and have it be like a relationship.
Right. The simple thing like checking your fluids, checking your air pressure, that's still covered in, the owner's manuals of vehicles. So you have that book in front of you. How to change a wheel. Nick, you didn't know how to change a wheel. So after you read your owner's manual.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah. But
we don't talk about that.
No. But it's in your owner's manual. So at this point, if you wanted to, you could actually study your owner's manual, and maybe one day, hey, I've got an extra hour. Why don't I practice changing, putting my spare tire on? And that will help you the day that you're at the side of the road having to do it. That will reduce the stress level dramatically because you've done it before. And now you know what to do. But a lot of people, the first time that they're confronted with changing a tire is at the side of the road with people whizzing by at 70 miles an hour, and they're not really comfortable doing it there. So learn how to do it in your driveway in the safety when there's no stress, there's no pressure, and you're just there. It's like, okay, let's see if I can do it. And you can do it. It's not difficult, but see how to do it and why, what do I do? And if you figure out with that this is something I never want to do, then get like a AAA membership or some form of roadside assistance membership. And then you know that, look, the spare tire changing thing is not for me.
Another thing you could do is after you clean your wheel, put your tire lotion on, wait, 15 minutes? What do you recommend, Ivan, for the double layer of tire lotion? Is it 15?
Yeah.
Is it 30?
Yeah, 15 to 20 minutes.
15 to 20 minutes. You can put another layer of tire lotion on there if you really like that glazed donut look. You can add tire lotion to your exterior plastics if you want. There's just things you can do that will actually serve you, that aren't wasting time, that do take more time. But you're improving along the way.
You're definitely improving. And the glazed donut look, for a lot of people, they go, oh, no. Maybe try it on your car once and see what you actually think. Just because everyone around you says, I don't like the glazed donut look, you might really like it on your car, and it might suit your car. If you've got a slightly older car with a wider sidewall, like you on your Jeep, Nick, the glazed donut look on a Jeep, to me, actually looks good because you've got that nice wide sidewall. Someone that has a very narrow sidewall, like a very sporty tire, the glazed donut look doesn't really fit that. But if you,
why don't you like the narrow sidewall glazed donut look?
Not on a narrow sidewall. So to me, a more modern vehicle doesn't get the glazed donut look. But if I've got like the 63 Corvette we recently did, that one screams for the glazed donut look because that was what it was in the time. Back then, when you put a tire dressing on, it was to have the glazed donut look. That was the whole point of it. You wanted that. So that is something that, try it. Just try it on one tire once. And if you don't like it, it can wipe off. It's not that, it's not that stressful, or wait a week and, a week or two and that's it. But at the same time, I see the glazed donut look actually coming back. There are some people that are wanting that again. And, like I say, it's not for every vehicle. I wouldn't do it on, a sports car with a 35 series tire, but on your Jeep, on a pickup truck, the pickup truck with the really big tires and knobby tires, it actually looks really good there. So
I agree, Ivan. I agree.
Yep.
Speaking of taking a lot of time, I feel like we've spent a lot of time on this podcast. Is there more you wanted to get to? Was there something burning inside your chest that you had to get out to the world?
Well, just detailing is fun, and make it so that the time you're spending detailing, you're enjoying that time. So like we mentioned earlier on, the setup and tear down, try to shorten that as much as possible. And then you can spend more time washing and cleaning and doing your interior and doing your engine and doing your wheels and tires, door jambs, etc., etc. Get more done. Put that sealant on, etc. You just want to spend more time actually cleaning the car, less time setting up. And that is where people fall out of love with detailing, is having to carry those buckets and having to set it up. And, oh, where's the hose this week? I lost it. Or, where's this fitting for the pressure washer that I need, but I can't find it right now. So having everything on a shelf or set up and ready to go, bolted to the wall, all you have to do is, flip the switch, reel the hose out, and you're good. That is something that can make detailing more enjoyable for you.
I agree. 100% I do agree. Ivan, there are things in detailing that I think are just overrated. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
If folks want to learn about what those are, maybe our most overrated detailing things ever, like,
they're probably up here.
Yeah, that podcast is right here.